A quiet question. What if the next 2 minutes became the moment you finally looked at yourself with new eyes? Not because of fear. Not because someone predicted your future. But because sometimes, in the middle of an ordinary day, a single moment of reflection can change the way you carry yourself for years to come. So before your mind races ahead, slow down for just a moment. Take one deep breath. And ask yourself, when was the last time you truly thanked your body? Not judged it. Not compared it. Not criticized it. Simply thanked it. Because while you've been focusing on everything you wish looked different, your body has been working quietly behind the scenes every second of every day. Your heart has never taken a vacation. Your lungs have never asked for applause. Your mind has carried memories, dreams, disappointments, victories, and unanswered prayers. And through every season of your life, your body stayed with you. Many people spend years searching for miracles somewhere outside themselves. Yet one of the greatest miracles has been with them since the day they were born. The body. Not perfect. Not flawless. But wonderfully complex. Imagine 3 heavenly messengers standing together, not to predict your future, not to frighten you, but to remind you of something you've almost forgotten. The first speaks about gratitude. The second speaks about wisdom. The third speaks about hope. 3 voices. 1 invitation. Take better care of the life you've already been given. Because your future is not built in one dramatic moment. It's built in thousands of small decisions no one else ever sees. The glass of water instead of another excuse. The walk you almost skipped. The extra hour of sleep. The quiet prayer before the day begins. The choice to forgive instead of carrying bitterness that weighs not only on your heart but also on your entire being. Perhaps that's why you're here today. Not by accident. But because something inside you has been whispering that it's time for a fresh beginning. Maybe you've ignored that whisper. Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow you'll rest. Tomorrow you'll eat better. Tomorrow you'll slow down. Tomorrow you'll believe in yourself again. But tomorrow has a way of becoming next week. Next month. Next year. Until one day you realize you've spent more time postponing change than creating it. What if today interrupted that pattern? Think back for a moment. Remember the younger version of yourself. The dreams. The energy. The confidence that life was still full of possibilities. That version of you didn't know every answer. But there was hope. There was expectation. There was curiosity. That person still exists. Life may have covered that hope with responsibilities, disappointments, and endless noise. But it has never disappeared. It has simply been waiting for your attention. Sometimes we believe transformation begins when everything around us changes. But more often, it begins when our perspective changes. The moment we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What can this moment teach me?" That simple shift can open doors that frustration never could. Your body hears the way you speak about yourself. Your mind remembers every word you repeat. If every morning begins with criticism, if every mirror becomes a courtroom, if every mistake becomes proof that you're not enough, eventually your spirit grows tired. But imagine beginning tomorrow differently. Looking into the mirror and saying, I may not be where I want to be yet, but I'm grateful for another day to keep growing. That sentence alone carries more power than endless self-condemnation. Growth responds to encouragement, not constant shame. There is something remarkable about people who decide to begin again. Not because circumstances are perfect, but because they finally understand that waiting for perfect conditions means waiting forever. Today isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully yourself. Patient, kind, disciplined, hopeful, strong enough to keep going even when progress feels invisible. Have you ever planted a seed? 4 days. Nothing appears. No leaves. No flowers. No evidence that anything is happening. Yet beneath the surface, life is quietly growing. Many seasons in life feel exactly like that. You're making small improvements. Learning. Healing. Praying. Growing. But because the results aren't immediately visible, you wonder if anything is changing. Don't underestimate invisible progress. Roots always grow before fruit appears. And perhaps that's exactly the reminder your heart needed today. Not every meaningful transformation announces itself with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives quietly. One better choice. One healthier habit. One act of forgiveness. One peaceful evening. One encouraging thought. Repeated consistently. Until one day you wake up and realize you're becoming someone your past self would be proud to meet. So don't rush away. Because this is only the beginning. In the next part, we'll explore the deeper lessons symbolized by these 3 heavenly messengers and how gratitude, wisdom, and hope can reshape the way you see your body, your purpose, and the path ahead in ways you may never have considered before. The most surprising transformations rarely begin with a dramatic announcement. They begin in silence. A decision no one applauds. A promise only you can hear. And perhaps that's why this moment matters more than it first appears. Imagine standing at the edge of a new chapter not because everything around you has changed overnight, but because something inside you has quietly awakened. The first heavenly messenger reminds you of something our busy world often forgets. Your body is not your enemy. It's your lifelong companion. Every challenge you've survived. Every celebration you've experienced. Every tear you've shed. Every smile you've shared. Your body carried you through it all. Think about that for a moment. When life became overwhelming, your heart kept beating. When nights felt endless, your lungs kept breathing. When disappointment knocked on your door, your body still gave you another sunrise. That deserves gratitude. Not because everything is perfect, but because every new morning is another opportunity to grow. Now imagine beginning each day differently. Instead of immediately reaching for worry, you reach for thankfulness. Not because your problems disappeared, but because your perspective became stronger than your circumstances. Gratitude doesn't erase challenges. It changes the way we walk through them. Have you noticed how people who practice thankfulness often seem lighter? Not because they have easier lives, but because they refuse to let every difficulty define them. The second heavenly messenger speaks with remarkable calm. Its message is simple. Wisdom is built through daily choices. Most people wait for motivation before they act. Wise people act even when motivation is absent. They understand that feelings come and go, but habits quietly shape the future. Imagine two paths. The first offers comfort today. The second offers growth tomorrow. Comfort always feels easier in the moment. Growth often feels uncomfortable at first. Yet months later, the small decisions become impossible to ignore. One person chose rest instead of endless scrolling. Another chose movement instead of remaining still. Someone chose forgiveness instead of carrying resentment. Another chose hope instead of giving up. These decisions seem tiny, almost invisible. Yet over time they become the foundation of an entirely different life. The truth is, nobody accidentally becomes healthier. Nobody accidentally becomes peaceful. Nobody accidentally becomes disciplined. Those qualities grow little by little. Day after day. Choice after choice. Perhaps that's why you're hearing these words now. Not because anyone expects perfection from you, but because progress is still possible. Even if yesterday didn't go as planned. Even if last week felt discouraging. Even if you've started over more times than you can count. Every sunrise quietly whispers the same invitation. Begin again. Many people underestimate the power of beginning again. They think the opportunity has passed. That they're too late. Too tired. Too broken. Too far behind. But hope has never asked how many mistakes you've made. Hope simply asks whether you're willing to take the next step. The third heavenly messenger smiles not because life has been easy, but because hope always sees possibilities that fear cannot. Hope reminds you that your story is still being written. There are chapters you haven't lived yet. Friendships you haven't discovered. Moments of joy waiting around unexpected corners. Lessons that will one day make perfect sense. And perhaps the greatest surprise. The person you're becoming may be stronger than the person you've been trying so hard to become. Not because life suddenly becomes effortless, but because your perspective changes. You stop chasing impossible standards. You start celebrating faithful progress. If these words are encouraging you, take a quiet moment to support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. It helps these messages reach others who may need a reminder to keep moving forward with hope. Now think about something. Have you ever noticed how nature never rushes? Trees don't panic because they're still growing. Flowers don't compare themselves with mountains. The sunrise never competes with the sunset. Everything grows according to its season. Maybe you've been expecting yourself to bloom overnight. Maybe you've measured your progress against someone else's timeline. But comparison steals the joy of growth. Your journey is uniquely yours. Every lesson, every delay, every victory, every setback. They are shaping wisdom that cannot be rushed. The body reflects much more than appearance. It often reflects the way we live, the peace we cultivate, the rest we allow ourselves, the kindness we practice, the gratitude we choose. No one can make those decisions for you. They're quietly made in ordinary moments. When no one is watching. When applause is absent. When only your character knows which direction you're choosing. And that is where lasting transformation begins. Not with one spectacular event, but with thousands of ordinary moments filled with purpose. Stay with me. Because in the next part, these three symbolic heavenly messengers bring their final reflection, a message about courage, renewal, and the kind of inner strength that continues to grow long after the excitement of a new beginning fades. Every meaningful journey reaches a moment where information is no longer enough. A moment arrives when knowledge quietly steps aside, and action takes its place. This is that moment. Imagine the three heavenly messengers standing together one final time. Not pointing toward fear. Not predicting impossible events. But inviting you toward a life built on wisdom, hope, and steady faith. The first messenger gently asks a question. What would change if you truly believed your life still has purpose? Think carefully. How would you wake up tomorrow? How would you speak to yourself? How would you treat the people around you? Would you spend less time looking backward, and more time building what still lies ahead? Purpose changes everything. The same road feels different when you know why you're walking it. The same challenge feels lighter when you understand it is shaping your character. The same ordinary day becomes extraordinary when you choose to fill it with gratitude instead of complaints. The second messenger reminds you that strength is rarely loud. Real strength appears when no one notices. It's the strength to forgive when pride says, "Don't." It's the strength to keep learning when failure whispers, "Quit." It's the strength to rest without feeling guilty. It's the strength to admit you don't have every answer. The world often celebrates dramatic victories. But heaven celebrates faithful hearts. The people who quietly choose kindness. Who keep their promises. Who encourage instead of tearing others down. Who remain hopeful even when circumstances don't immediately improve. These are the victories that shape a meaningful life. Now the third messenger steps forward. Its voice is filled with peace. It says, "Don't underestimate the future that can grow from today's small decisions. One glass of water. One healthy meal. One peaceful prayer. One encouraging conversation. One evening spent with family instead of endless distractions. One page read. One walk taken. One apology offered. One act of generosity." None of these moments seem extraordinary by themselves. Yet together, they quietly become the story of a transformed life. Many people wait for a miracle while overlooking the gifts already placed within their reach. The ability to choose. To learn. to love, to begin again, to grow. These are remarkable gifts. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not that life suddenly changes around you. It's that your heart changes within you. Imagine looking back 1 year from today. Picture yourself smiling because you stayed consistent. Because you didn't give up after one difficult week. Because you treated yourself with patience instead of constant criticism. Because you discovered that lasting growth is built through steady faithfulness. That future version of you would probably tell you something very simple. Thank you for not quitting. Those 5 words carry incredible power. Because quitting often looks tempting before progress becomes visible. Remember the seed beneath the soil. It doesn't stop growing simply because no one can see it. In the same way, there may be changes happening inside you right now that haven't fully appeared yet. Your confidence, your wisdom, your resilience, your compassion, your peace. These qualities grow quietly. And one day, others begin noticing what you've been building all along. Perhaps someone watching today has been carrying heavy disappointment. Maybe plans didn't unfold the way you expected. Maybe opportunities disappeared. Maybe you've questioned whether your best days are behind you. If that's you, hear this gentle reminder. Your story is not finished. A difficult chapter is not the final chapter. Every sunrise continues to offer a new page. Every breath is another opportunity. Every act of gratitude is another step toward hope. Life has a remarkable way of surprising people who refuse to surrender their faith, their kindness, and their willingness to keep growing. So before this message comes to an end, pause for one final reflection. Close your eyes for just a few seconds if you're able. Think about one habit you can improve this week. Just one. Not 10. Not 20. One. One conversation you'll approach with more patience. One evening you'll dedicate to rest. One encouraging word you'll speak to yourself each morning. One small act of kindness you'll share with someone who least expects it. Small beginnings often lead to extraordinary destinations. The 3 heavenly messengers now fade into the distance not because their reminder has ended, but because the next step belongs to you. Their message was never about fear. It was never about chasing dramatic signs. It has always been about recognizing the incredible value of the life you've already been given. Treat your body with gratitude. Fill your mind with wisdom. Guard your heart with hope. Walk each day with faith. And remember this whenever life feels uncertain. You don't have to become perfect overnight. You simply have to keep moving forward, one faithful step at a time. May your days be filled with renewed purpose. May your choices reflect wisdom. May your heart remain hopeful through every season. And may you never forget that even the smallest act of faith, kindness, or perseverance has the power to shape a brighter tomorrow. Until next time, take care of yourself, encourage someone around you, and keep choosing the path that leads to lasting peace, steady growth, and a life filled with gratitude. The message doesn't end when the words stop. In many ways, this is where it truly begins. Because inspiration has value only when it becomes action. Think about every season of your life. There were moments you believed nothing meaningful was happening. Days that felt ordinary. Weeks that seemed repetitive. Months where progress appeared invisible. Yet when you look back now, you realize those quiet seasons were preparing you for the person you've become. Growth has always been happening, even when you couldn't see it. Perhaps that's one of the greatest lessons symbolized by these three heavenly messengers. The first reminds you to treasure what has already been entrusted to you. The second encourages you to keep choosing wisdom, even when the easier path seems more attractive. The third invites you to live with hope, not because tomorrow is guaranteed to unfold exactly as you expect, but because hope gives today's choices purpose. Imagine waking up 1 year from now. Not with a completely different life overnight, but with a completely different mindset. Imagine carrying less worry, more peace, less comparison, more gratitude, less fear, more courage. Imagine noticing how the small choices you almost ignored slowly shaped a healthier, calmer, stronger version of yourself. That future doesn't begin someday. It begins the next time you make a decision. Every decision quietly asks a question. Who are you becoming? Not who were you yesterday. Not who someone else expects you to be. Who are you becoming today? That question matters more than almost anything else. Because character isn't created in one dramatic moment. It's revealed through ordinary routines. How you respond when plans change. How you speak when you're frustrated. How you treat people who cannot repay your kindness. How you care for yourself when nobody is watching. These moments build a life of quiet strength. Many people spend years waiting for perfect timing. But perfect timing rarely announces itself. More often, it looks like an ordinary day with one extraordinary decision. A decision to forgive. To rest. To learn. To encourage. To begin again. To believe that your best qualities are still growing. Maybe someone listening today has been carrying a burden that few people know about. Perhaps you've smiled in public while feeling exhausted inside. Perhaps you've been strong for everyone else while forgetting to care for yourself. If that's where you are, remember this. Even the strongest trees continue drawing nourishment from their roots. Strength is not pretending you never need rest. Strength is recognizing that renewal is part of the journey. Give yourself permission to pause. To breathe. To reflect. To recover. There is wisdom in slowing down long enough to remember what truly matters. Life moves quickly. Days become weeks. Weeks become years. The conversations you have today. The habits you build today. The gratitude you practice today. They become the memories you'll carry tomorrow. So choose carefully. Choose with intention. Choose with hope. One day you'll look back and realize the greatest changes weren't the loudest ones. They were the quiet choices repeated faithfully over time. Maybe that's the hidden beauty of this entire message. Not that something extraordinary suddenly appears from outside your life. but that something extraordinary quietly grows within it. A heart that refuses bitterness. A mind that keeps learning. A spirit that continues believing. A life guided by compassion instead of comparison. That kind of transformation cannot be measured by appearances alone. It can be seen in your patience, your peace, your generosity, your resilience, your ability to remain thankful even during uncertain seasons. As this journey comes to a close, carry these 3 reminders with you. When you wake up tomorrow, choose gratitude before complaint. Choose wisdom before impulse. Choose hope before discouragement. Those 3 decisions, repeated day after day, have the power to reshape the direction of an entire life. And whenever you feel like your progress is too small, remember the sunrise. It doesn't flood the sky with light in a single instant. It arrives gradually, minute by minute, until darkness quietly gives way to a brand new day. Your growth often works the same way. Steady, patient, faithful. If this message encouraged your heart, consider sharing it with someone who could use a reminder that every day offers a fresh beginning. And if you'd like to continue receiving uplifting reflections like this, you're always welcome to join us again. Until then, walk with gratitude, live with wisdom, hold on to hope, take care of the life you've been given, and never underestimate what can grow from one faithful choice made today.